Welcome everyone here to the Back in the Game podcast, our first ever episode here on Trackside Racing Network. It's been a long time. Here with me is going to be kind of a new thing that we're going to be doing. Of course, joining me here, my co-main broadcaster, Derek Pemberton. Derek, good to have you in here as we get set for a new series.
Oh, yeah, man. It's something that I know I've been talking about doing for a while now, and now that I feel like we finally got the platform to finally be able to do it, man, I can't wait. Of course, we kind of picked, I think, one of the worst times to actually start one because what's really going on, but I think we got enough now that we might be able to push something out, hopefully every week or at least every other week for a foreseeable future.
Yeah, and one thing I want to go ahead and give a shout-out to real fast, I want to give a shout-out to Todd's Landscaping. He's going to be promoting the first segment, so if you're up in Munger, Michigan, check them out, Todd's Landscaping. They also got a Facebook as well. We will be watching Facebook chat, so if you got any questions, concerns, all that good stuff. So we're going to be going over a bunch of different stuff, Derek. iRacing, and these are your topics. I only added like two different things, but the iRacing Pro Invitational, then we got to move into some broadcasts that we do over on ESPN. And from there, we're going to be talking a little bit of NFL stuff, something a little bit different. And we got a bunch of stuff planned here, Derek. Let's go ahead and point that out. This is just a start.
Yeah, and it's always the first one. The first one's always the hardest one. Sometimes the second one can be a little difficult. And like I said, we kind of chose one of the worst times to possibly start something like this. But I think we can be able to push enough out to y'all to maybe get y'all some different inside, information maybe that you didn't know about certain stuff. Or just you want to talk sports without any of the what all else is going on in the world. You just want to sit here and talk about sports. And I'll be honest, you're talking to two of the best guys I think that can bring that to you. And, maybe give you a little bit of bias, but then also give you a little bit of non-biased opinion.
Or you can just call us idiots and go about yourself. I mean, honestly, it's, people do. So anyway, let's move on, Derek. Let's talk about the good and the bad of the iRacing NASCAR iRacing Pro Invitational. We're going to kind of skip over the Coca-Cola series because I didn't get to watch it, but let's talk about this Pro Invitational that a lot of people have been talking about. It's really good for iRacing, I might add. So talk about some of the good and bad that you like about it.
Well, the good is, so far, at least the first two races, but we'll kind of look at the two separately. First, Homestead, ton of wrecks. I think the last run of the race was like a 15-lap run to the checkered, and I think that was the longest run of the whole race in a 100-lap race. And at Homestead, you would think that it would, these are the best guys in racing. And they can't even run 15 laps. So everybody coming into Texas was kind of like, well, we're going to kind of see the same thing as we did last week, or did everyone kind of get it kind of under control, just got the jitters out of the way? And I'll be honest, Texas I thought was by far the best race I had seen on iRacing.
I thought it was kind of the mixed way about that. Like you just said, kind of the jitters thing. I think a lot of guys that actually was on the first race that they had didn't really know what to expect and what a lot of practice being done. So they didn't really know what to expect, and I think that you kind of showed that or mentioned that, and then it kind of showed here in this last race that we just had.
And, Texas, I think, especially because iRacing is having to push out so much, I think, for this. If you're on iRacing, you know that Texas Motor Speedway got the update that we've been asking for, 2 years, I think, now? They finally push it out. And that was kind of a big deal. And I think it also added to the success that's coming from all of this because, of course, you got NASCAR, you got IndyCar, you got IMSA, and I forget what the main series that's coming actually on tonight on the Fox Sports 1 that's coming from iRacing as well.
Thing, I believe. Yeah, the World Outlaws.
World Outlaws. They're coming to Fox Sports 1, and they're using iRacing.
And, honestly, that can be a good thing for the dirt side of things in real life once we do get back going racing because a lot of people might not be really familiar with dirt racing. So this could open up the, minds, I guess, of people for the dirt thing. I like dirt racing. Is it my forte? No, I'd rather watch asphalt, but it's good for iRacing, and honestly, it's done great for the server as well. What were some of the bad things you didn't like?
Well,
this is probably a long list.
If you are familiar with the ESPN Broadcasting Network, or I think we even did this back here on TRN, I think, with the Derek's Dilemma, as you can tell, there's always a long list of bad things that I like to give iRacing a hard time about.
We might want to mention real fast that iRacing, hopefully they're not watching this, because they're probably going to want to make sure we don't broadcast ever on their service.
But, I mean, so far, they've, at least in these first two races, I mean, they've produced something that no one thought could honestly happen. And, excuse me, and they've done good so far. But if you've been on iRacing for a while, what's going to be the fallout? What's going to happen? Because something big's about to happen. And I hate saying it like that, but I feel like something big and bad's going to happen eventually. Because they got to start pushing out so much more stuff. I mean, Bristol needs an update. I mean, there's several tracks that needs updating. And,
before you bring new
you know, iRacing was lucky enough to get the Texas pushed out in time. Can they go through here and update all these tracks, you know, before they get there? It's every week. And it's also not going to be these oval tracks. It's going to be some of these road tracks and some of these other tracks that they're also racing.
Yeah, my thing with the whole bad thing, like you kind of mentioned, they did update Bristol somewhat with the pit road, which was a good thing. But as far as a visual update, you know, it don't look nothing like Bristol now. Just being honest, that's my opinion as well about it.
Well, and I think you're probably one of the better people to be able to decipher that because, I mean, you're there, what, twice a year, sometimes more?
Yeah.
So, I mean, and especially in today's day and age where, you know, they can't get out and scan the tracks, all it is coding.
That's
true.
mean,
they can go in here and they can fix that.
You don't need to scan the TV, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it's not that hard. And, I mean, we've seen that they can do with this Texas update because, they maybe only had it was probably less than that. They probably had 4 days or something they had to fix Texas.
Yeah.
And I know they had already scanned it, but
they got it done really quick after that.
They got it done really quick. So now there's an expectation now, and I feel like that might also cause a problem is that now we just seen that, oh, crap, they pushed something out really quick. Why can't we do this for, like, Bristol? And I'm trying to think, what's another big track that they really need to update that I'm trying to think of off the top of my head?
There's a bunch. Let's see. Martinsville with a lot.
Phoenix. Well, Phoenix, now back to Phoenix, yeah.
Yeah, with the start-finish line.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
I feel like that one might be a little tougher to do, which I understand.
I understand that, yeah.
That was only the second time that they.
Yeah, 'cause I think pit road's different now.
It's just a little different. So I can understand that one being a little tougher to get, but I mean, there's some of these tracks that they haven't touched since they released it. I mean, long back before I even got onto iRacing. I mean, it looks like some of these tracks haven't been touched since then.
We're going to kind of hit this next topic kind of fast, talk about some of the drivers that's in it. Who do you actually pull for? I think I got an idea for the most part, but who are you pulling for? Of course. But iRacing, I do want to go ahead and mention this, and you can disagree. You could just say agree or disagree. iRacing did come out, or NASCAR came out with their top 10 or their power rankings. And it's heading into Bristol, of course. Parker Kligerman, they have it at number 10. He actually dropped back 2 spots. Agree or disagree?
I agree. He did good last week. He did pretty good at Texas. I didn't hear much out of him at all that much out of Homestead. So I'm kind of interested to see how he was up that high coming from Homestead into Texas. But I still think he will still be a threat to be reckoned with because, I mean, I think I've raced against him a couple of times on the sim. So I know definitely he does have some experience on here. So I wouldn't be surprised maybe see him move back up the charts here going into Bristol.
Next up, who they got is number 9, Matt DiBenedetto, and we got his picture up on the screen right now. Reason why he got number 9 after finishing 15th, he actually was the highest finisher driver to ever race in his underwear. So there you go. They got him at number 9. I think that's a good pick, honestly, for number 9.
Yeah.
Landon Castle, he's actually up 4 spots. Landon Castle.
He actually surprised. He actually kind of surprised me about. I didn't honestly think Landon Castle would be all that kind of good. And here's the thing. Now, it's with this, I think we're seeing more true talent than money pushed into cars, I think. And I think that's why you're seeing all these other named drivers like Landon Castle, because I remember Landon Castle, I think he was inside the top 4 or 5. I think at one point he even took the lead away from Dale Earnhardt Jr. Who would have thought you would have ever said that, except for at a plate track, that Landon Castle took the lead away from Dale Earnhardt Jr. and was leading lap?
Here's one that I really, in my personal opinion, I disagree with. I don't know how you feel about it, but William Byron, they have at 7. I think he should be higher. Just being honest. He's qualified up front, I think, both races. He's always up front. He just hasn't had the finishes, but honestly, I feel like as much time and experience he's had on iRacing, I feel like that he should be higher.
Yeah, I definitely agree that he might deserve to be a little higher.
I'd say at least 5th.
Yeah, but it all depends on who all else is on this list, because I haven't seen the list myself, so I'll have to see some of the
list. They got
rest.
Alex Bowman at 6.
Okay, I can see that one.
I can see that one. Danny Hamlin, I feel like, should be higher. They got him at 5.
Well, he did run in the back for most of Texas.
Keep in mind, he actually has dropped 4 spots, so he was, top 2.
He was the top dog, so... Yeah. I mean, we'll see kind of going into Bristol. I think in real life he usually kind of struggles at Bristol, so I wonder how he's going to do this Sunday.
Ryan Priest they got in at number 4.
Okay.
Garrett Smithley at number 3.
Now, that's a name I've heard both weeks.
That's
up
a good
front.
pick, by the way.
Yeah, I do like Smithley there.
Dale Jr. at number 2.
Shocker. It's just best if I keep my comments to myself on that one.
And then he's actually up 1 spot from 3rd, so that's not very surprising. And, of course, at number 1 they got Timmy Hill, which is awesome. He was able to get the win at Texas, so I agree with that. There's some names, like I said, I still feel like William Byron should be a little bit higher. But, other than that, I think it's okay. So, real fast, Eric, shout out to our other sponsor that has came on as well, Todds Game. You see these things, check that out on Facebook as well. Todd's Gaming page. I want to thank him. He will be the sponsor of this next segment. So, yeah. So, there you go. Some of the rigs everybody has.
Now, the big one that it seemed like they couldn't get it out of their mouth enough times before the race even started was Denny Hamlin's spaceship. Yeah. They said it at least 30 times before the green even dropped, and it was only on air for 10 minutes before the green dropped. So that is definitely something that maybe I wish they would not talk so much about as Denny Hamlin's rig. But the one thing I like, though, is that, some of these guys aren't going out and spending thousands of dollars
on the rig.
Yeah. Who's the one?
Majeski races with the G27, and I think on a laptop.
Yeah, that's huge right there. That just shows you, though, that because that's probably at most a $300 setup, if that.
Yeah, I don't know how much his laptop runs. I'm sure it's a gaming laptop, but the wheel. I mean, hey, that's a dinosaur, but that thing's still sturdy. I thought his was pretty cool just to see that kind of wheel. Tell you somebody had a nice setup was Kyle Busch. His is a nice one too.
I do like his setup. I really do, and I like watching his. I do like watching his. I'm going to use a quote unquote here onboard camera he has, where you're looking right over his shoulder in both races. And I'll be honest, I watched it both times in both races. I sit there and kind of watched it and really did enjoy kind of what it. And I did like his setup too. So I'm trying to think. Alex Bowman, he had. Was he the one that had the just the steer?
I think
there
so.
was some. Yeah. He's the one that everyone that like a lot of us, we're on budgets. We don't have just thousands of dollars just go spend on ourselves. So all we got is he does, but he doesn't. Yeah. No, actually, Alex Bowman's not the one. I'm trying to think. It's somebody. There's somebody.
I can't remember.
And all they got is a desk and a monitor. That's all I got.
Somebody else I want to give a shout out to real quick. Him, Joe Burchett. His rig that Jeb Burton used in the sanctioned race prior to see if he qualifies in. Joe's got a really nice setup as well, so shout out to him, and awesome that Jeb was able to get to use it. Speaking of which, real fast before we go on to the next subject with our leagues and stuff, I want to talk a little bit about the upcoming thing that iRacing has added. The eNASCAR iRacing Pro Invitational Series got a new look for Bristol. So this coming, they're actually going to be doing something on Saturday. It's called the Food City Showdown, which is awesome. It's going to be airing Saturday on Fox FS1 and the app as well. But they're going to be 2 heat races. Everyone in the heat race will transfer to the main event. Meanwhile, the additional Saturday event, actually that was for Sunday's event, the lineup for Sunday's main event, the Food City Showdown, will be set after 2 heat races. Everyone in the heat race will transfer to the main event. So pretty cool there that they're actually going to be doing heat races instead of normal qualifying. Meanwhile, the additional Saturday event that's taking place is called Saturday Night Thunder. It will be streamed on the eNASCAR.com website. And basically what that is going to be, it features a format similar to Short Track Fans that we broadcast on ESPN that has multiple heat races leading up to the main event. So that's pretty cool. And they're taking drivers, I believe, from the Arkham Menard Series, the NASCAR Xfinity Series, Gander Outdoors Truck Series, the Peak Mexico Series, and the NASCAR Willen. That is actually going to be run on Saturday to see if they can make the show on Sunday. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and it's always nice to see, that they're trying to come up with better ways to get different names, I think, into the Sunday show.
We don't know many Mexican drivers.
You never know. Maybe one of those guys, especially on a track like Bristol, where, let's be real, your guy that's running 35th for the first however many laps, in the last 20 laps, he can make a push. Never know. Could maybe give himself a chance to win.
Yeah, I think Bristol's going to be one of them races, and we'll move on after this subject, but I think Bristol's going to be one of them races that kind of goes back to the first race. It's going to be a wreck fest because them guys are not used to 750 horsepower on iRacing.
They're probably not even used to 750 horsepower because when have they really ran it
When
this
was the
year?
last time? Well, they haven't ran it at all this year because I don't think they've been in any short tracks, correct?
No,
unless
you count Phoenix, but
I don't think that's 750 there. I still think it's 550.
So
yeah, so that's
it'll definitely be something whenever we get there on Sunday. But now this is kind of more towards you as we move into the next section here. It's about the broadcast.
You can mention about it as well. You can talk a little bit about it as well.
The leagues that
race
we
Most of them,
yeah. But the first one on here, because how I set this up is I kind of started on Mondays, because you're off on Saturdays and Sundays, right? If I remember right.
No,
you're not. Oh, well, then there's a couple I probably missed then. But I started on Monday just because I felt like it. And the first one we go to is the iRacing East Series.
They had a fantastic race this past week at Texas. You were in that one. But they also do the super speedway schedule as well. Cody Smith won the race. I don't think that's really much of a surprise. Actually, I don't know if this has been updated. Let me double check this. I don't think the E-Series has been updated. I'm double checking now, but
for the Friday or for the Monday?
For the Friday Night League. So yeah, it hasn't been updated completely. So we'll kind of skip over for the most part, we'll skip over some of the super speedway stuff. But I do want to mention Cody Smith does have 3 wins in that, continuing. But let's go ahead and talk about the Monday Night League. We just actually broadcast that the other day. And actually, the schedule is not updated on air yet as well. But we'll go ahead and talk about Marcus Adams picking up the win in that race, which, by the way, dominated Texas. Fun racing. You raced in it. Talk a little bit about that race, man. You was in it for the most part, and it was definitely a hard place to race.
Yeah, it really was, because all week long I'd been running in the open races, and I was like, well, crap, because I kind of hit me about Sunday afternoon. I was like, I got to run a fixed cup car tomorrow night. So I got in and ran a couple of fixed races, and the car was nice, snug, going through 1 and 2. You didn't have to worry about getting on the throttle, having the car kind of step out from you on a restart. I mean, car just felt perfect. I mean, it felt like kind of how all the fixed setups should.
Right.
And then we roll into Monday night. And on a restart, you had to completely lift out of the throttle getting into 1.
Yeah.
And it didn't matter if you was on 4 tires, 2 tires. Because I'll be honest, I mean, unfortunately, I had a little bit of connection issues, which, speaking of that, hopefully I got all that fixed, which I think I did.
Looks like you did, yeah.
Yeah. And if it wasn't for that, I mean, I felt like I had one of the fastest cars out there on the track because I could just sit there and pass anybody wherever, whenever I wanted. Top, bottom, it didn't matter. But on the restarts, because I think it was the first or second pit stop, I took 2 tires. And I jumped from like mid-20s. I was like to 12th.
Yeah.
And, I mean, it was a great strategy call by me. I mean, I think I made the right decision because we caught a quick yellow. Okay, well, maybe this will work. And then we kind of went on a medium run. I kind of fell to the back a little bit just because of the connection issue. But a lot of it was also just I was kind of taking it easy. And I could tell a lot of people were pushing really, really hard. And I think the 2 tires would have worked. But whenever we got down into the corner, I think it was on the second restart of taking 2 tires, I was on the outside of the one and just getting into the corner, not really thinking much about it, still having it full throttle because that's what I'd done in my open races and my fixed races. Held it wide open. Just the car just turned all the way to the inside. It wanted to go to the apron. And I've had a couple of cars want to do that to me, but I never had it where it was dead set every time getting into 1 and 2 that the front nose wanted to be on the apron. And that was, I don't know if that was just me. I don't know if you've seen it up on the broadcast, but I had trouble with that every single restart. Didn't matter where I was at. Didn't matter if I was tucked up underneath somebody. Didn't matter if I was up in clean air all by myself.
Yeah, there was a couple of cars in that race that had kind of the same issue that I noticed. I forgot how many yellows we had off the top of my head. It wasn't too many, but there was a few where, honestly, it looked like the car, like you kind of said, it had too much handling, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and now, of course, once you got to 3 and 4, I mean, you just felt the car, it wanted to kick out, and then when you hit the center of the corner, it, like, jerked a little bit on the rear end, and then you could take it all the way up to the wall and finish off the corner. And, I mean, that was definitely a big adjustment issue that you had to handle on throughout the race, and I never got the chance to take 2 tires again, and I was really hoping that maybe that could have really helped that car from kicking like that, because when I was seeing the back end kick on everyone else, and I don't know how, sometimes I was keeping my car from being able to do that, I was able to get right up underneath them and then just pass them. And it was with ease. So
as far as the points go for the iRacing East Series, we think that, and I'm just kind of going by what I'm seeing, this hasn't been updated since the 23rd, so it's about a week old right now. But I believe Kyle Smiley was your points leader. I think he's going to drop back. I think Marcus Adams is going to take the lead after his win. He was only 13 points behind Kyle. Kyle didn't have the greatest night. But if I'm not mistaken, it will be Marcus Adams with the points lead going into Bristol, which is going to be very interesting, as we kind of talked already a little bit about that. What we got next?
The Western Super Series. Now, I don't get to run in that. I know that's not ESPN. That's more on Speed 51. But
and there is one on Fridays as well.
Well, yeah, there is the Friday nights here as well. And by the way, if you are wanting to see some more short track racing, make sure you do check out Speed 51 on Tuesday nights. I'm not sure exactly what time y'all go live.
10 p.m.
For that. 10 p.m. So if you are looking to maybe watch some more short track racing, make sure you tune on in to Speed 51. I believe y'all are on Facebook and on the website.
Last night we was on Facebook. Actually, right now sitting at about 8,000 views on Facebook. I don't know what it was on the website last night, but so pretty good there. They do have an off week next week. And I do want to go ahead and push this out a little bit. On April 5th, which is this Sunday?
This
Sunday. This Sunday at 6:30 p.m., we will be broadcasting. I can't go into too many details with this because I'm not allowed yet, but I will say that there's going to be a special person in the booth. I can't go into details with it yet.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, but Mark Galloway, if I'm not mistaken, it's going to be that one and a couple other ones, but I don't want to say it too much. But Mark Galloway 125, April 5th. And what this is, it's the Evergreen Speedway Showcase Series. Evergreen Speedway is based in Washington, I believe. They have came on board with the Western Super Series, with iRacing and Speed 51, and they are pushing this 5-race mini-series out. It's only 5 races, and the races are kind of short, but I want you to listen to these, Derek. You're going to like some of these. You might actually want to run one. The Mark Galloway 125 is super late models at Stafford, okay? The Summer Showdown 200, it is 200 laps for that one, but it's 4 tires at Stafford in the super late models. You all have 4 tires in field, by the way, which is pretty awesome. Here's where things get interesting. April 10th through the April 14th. Now, we are only broadcasting a feature race. Okay? Figure 8 Nationals, Tour Modifieds at the Figure 8 course. Very interesting. Then we have the Granite Sprint Car Series on asphalt, I might add, April 17th to the 19th. That is winged sprint cars at the Lanier Speedway. Then we wrap up the series at the Essential Welding Supply Super Late Model at Lanier. Pretty cool. The figure eight's very interesting to me.
Yeah, and I got to figure out how to register for that because that definitely does sound like some fun.
So people that is interested in registering can go over to the Western Super Series Facebook page. They actually got their own Facebook page. You can find out more information there. Pretty cool. You can message here on TRN or ESPN, and I'll try to get you all. That will be broadcasted on Speed 51 as well. Over to the K&N side, a little bit. They raced this past week at the Bull Ring. Parker Ratzlaff dominated. I mean, that's just, that's what he's been doing all season. I don't want to say he's dominated all season, but he is a points leader for a reason. But the K&N side, he was able to win it. So I'll kind of, I'm not going to spend too much time with that. But, hey, what do you think about that new K&N model, though, real fast, the damage model? I won't say it's been around for a few weeks now. It's
been around for a couple weeks, and it's the first non-open wheeled car to get this damage model. And so far, it's good. It kind of sucks if you got a more... It kind of really hurts your computer if you don't have a great computer. Right. I'll be honest. Right. The damage model, it really does kind of hurt the computer, I think, in a way. So, but besides that, I mean, it looks great. I think me personally, I like it. I want to see, though, how are they going to do this with the Cup, Xfinity, and Truck?
I think something that's not getting really talked about is the sound of it. Like, the audio is amazing.
Sometimes those sounds are just
brutal.
Incredible. Yo, it's
and also real fast,
it just sounds like a shotgun.
We do not broadcast next week on Speed 51. I want to point that out. We actually have an off week, so there's that. That is next Tuesday. What is next?
Red Sox Racing League. Hey. They run Thursday. Thursdays out. I'm trying to come up with a catchy name because let's be real, it's a doubleheader. Two completely different styles of racing than what you're used to seeing on a Thursday night. You got your road racing, and then you got street stocks at short tracks most of the time, depending on how the admins however we like to pick the schedule sometimes. I wonder sometimes.
So, but, a little bit about the Red Sox because you race it. Mm-hmm. For people that don't know, and you know this, the oldest league in iRacing, I believe, at least top 3 oldest league in iRacing, been around almost 11 years. Founded by the owner of the Boston Red Sox, John Henry, which is the name of Red Sox Racing League. They're going to be at Lime Rock Park this week. That's going to be fun, by the way.
And unfortunately, I didn't get to practice any last night, and I really wish I would have got some practice in because I think what they said the fastest lap time was under a minute. I think was that right? Or was it a minute?
46 seconds.
And I'll be honest, that's not a very small track. I looked at it; it doesn't look all that small.
Yeah. I was surprised by that too. Joe Burchett on top of the board. Go figure. But let me ask you a question: are you liking the BMW in that series more than other cars as well? I mean, there's like Tommy Ryan's still running the Ferrari. Ross Booth is still running the Ferrari. There's a couple Porsches as well, but 9 out of 10 times it's a BMW at least more in the top 5 than not.
Yeah, the BMW is nice. A lot of people do run in it, but the one thing I definitely would want to, I know for me personally, I want to try something different. I mean, because to me personally, I don't know. Sometimes I just feel like I'm kind of behind the 8 ball sometimes when it comes in that BMW. I don't know if that's just me or if that's just the car itself. So that's definitely something I want to look into, maybe trying to change at least for Thursday. Maybe trying to run a different car.
Yeah, and plus I want to go ahead and mention that TJ Majors, the spotter for Joey Logano,
yep,
is running that league as well. So it's pretty awesome. I didn't think I was allowed to interview him last week because it was kind of weird. I thought he thought it would be kind of weird. He was actually really cool about it. He's like, man, if you want to interview me, go ahead. It's completely cool. Really super nice guy from what I've talked to. So really awesome to see TJ. Pretty cool to see him running road, to be honest.
Yeah, that's one thing I thought too. Was it was definitely weird to see him in a road race. But yeah. I mean, if we think about it, though, I mean, oldest league in iRacing, and then
makes sense, don't it?
Yeah, I mean, I 100% see it.
Yeah. So moving on, strictly street stock series, one of my favorite leagues to broadcast because I love street stocks and a lot of beating and banging. Derek, you got a win in there. We go to a track that you've had success with. Cody Most was the winner last week. I'm very impressive with him, by the way. We're going to talk about him here in just a minute, but give me your thoughts on USA.
USA, if you remember last year, we kind of had a little bit of a wreck fest with it, just a little bit. It wasn't too terrible, but USA, that is one track that you run for the moment you start on iRacing and you want to start on your oval license. You will run USA or Charlotte.
Yeah, and that's a fun place to race.
It is an absolute fun place to race. And if you remember last year, we had a lot of bumping, we had a lot of banging in the last 3 to 4 laps, especially amongst teammates. 3 or 4 teammates all over top of each other battling for the top spot, and it just got absolutely crazy. And I mean, of course, already having the win, which who would have thought I would have had that? I thought I was going to come down to Bristol or to this week.
Got it, New Hampshire.
I don't know why. Ever since, I mean, this is all the way back to CFR days. I remember I was getting mad just because I couldn't drive it, and then come to find out in the race, actually finished, I think, like top 3 or 4, I think, in that race. And ever since then, I just find a way to finish really well at New Hampshire in any sort of car. And I really got lucky, though, because unfortunately my teammate, Joey Pachette, he kind of got caught up in some mess, and it kind of just helped me because I didn't have to really worry about him in the race. So that definitely made it easy. And, of course, Brian Kidda and them, they did not make it easy. I was expecting to get turned coming to the flag, and I just somehow got lucky enough and didn't get turned. But now going into USA, 100% we will see a bump and run. Now, is it going to be for the win? Who knows? But I will say this, though. The leader's going to get wrecked.
I want to shout out Cody Most. I know he's watching right now, and that's one thing I was going to hop into next. Big shout out for him getting the win at Southern National. It has been an overtake season so far. Cody Most, not part of overtake. We might have to try to change that here soon. But, hey, this guy went out, and you raced against him. You finished 4th in that race. 75 laps led at Southern National with only 1 caution. That was impressive.
That definitely was. And kind of as you was just alluded to, it has been overtake all season. I mean, of course, I think Joe went on to win the first 2. I won the 3rd race, and then I think
it was Gary Smith, I believe.
Gary Smith won the next one. And
actually, it was Joe Burchett. It was 2 Joe, then Gary, then you, then Joe, then Cody.
Yeah. So, I mean, all the way up until this point, everyone was wondering, can somebody beat overtake? And Cody Most definitely, he took advantage of Joe not being there. Yeah, he definitely took big advantage of Joe not being there, then me getting caught up in some other stuff, and Gary kind of getting into the same mess. And it just didn't look like Todd had much of a car last week. So I know that's especially someone I expect to see really try to maybe push the limit just a little bit tomorrow night is Todd Chase, because he's had an okay season. Let me see if I can pull the points up real quick.
I had it up too. One thing about Cody Most, by the way, he had the fastest hours lap time over that race. And by the way, Todd Chase is tied for 6th straight now in points. And top 10 make the chase.
And top 10 makes the chase. I think he will make the chase because I'm looking at everyone that's kind of outside looking in. There are still some big names that I think maybe still trying to make a push their way in the good one. I think
one of them, I agree, 100%.
One of them is going to get in. Lindsey Harper, that actually kind of surprises me. He's inside the top 10 right now, but that just shows me he's got 6 starts.
You want to look at somebody's surprise? Look who's in 10th.
Ooh, I about said the name.
You can say it.
Dingle Flingle.
Casey Flingle.
Yeah.
By the way, shout out to him. I don't know if you've seen the picture where he was in a fire.
I seen the picture. I didn't know much about it. It was
brutal. So basically, he was working at home, or working with a friend in his furnace, and he had backdraft come out, and it literally caught his hand on fire. It was bad. I don't know how he even raced the truck series on Saturday. But hey, good to see him, honestly, in the top 10. But man, Cody Most, I'm going to be honest, Cody went from 12th in points up to 8th, and locked himself into the chase. Cody's going to be dangerous when it comes chase time.
And someone else I'm sitting there looking on the outside in is actually Pate Albin.
Yeah.
I mean,
Joe, too. He going to kill me. Joe going to kill me when he hears that.
But actually, someone else I haven't seen him in a couple weeks is Shane Williams.
The Dirt Series champion, yeah.
He was definitely a force to be reckoned with. I'm sitting here looking at out of 4 starts, he had 2 top 5s, 3 top 10s. So he was definitely consistent. That's another thing I'm sitting here looking at. Near the top is
real fast. So anybody that joins the Street Stock Series cannot make the chase now because we're halfway over the season and you got to at least run half the races. Somebody that's making their debut tomorrow night in the series is Levi Allen. That's going to be fun to watch because that guy can drive.
That guy can drive.
It's going to be a heck of a battle up front. And I'm paid up front because I think he's going to be there.
And here's the deal, and that's just it. He can be up front, but, I mean, he's got to be also thinking, too, that there's some of us that we don't just like people come in and dominating, too. So
especially at USA.
Especially at USA. And I'm sitting here looking at there's 3 guys right now, me included, in these 3. But there's 3 guys that have finished top 10 in every single race.
Yeah, I agree. Honestly, I mean, nobody has finished in the top 5 every single race. But if you go look at the top 5, it's kind of impressive. I don't know how Todd – it's so weird seeing Todd back in 6 because he's got the same amount of top 5s that you do, but it's the win that stands out.
Well, if I take away the win, I would be 5th in the standings right now. So, I mean, the win, it definitely does help. It just means we don't have pressure. And that's also another thing, too, is that, if Todd does get him a win, he'll be safe. But I'm also wondering, too, I'm looking at everyone that's got a win so far. Yeah, Todd's got consistent finishes, but, when has he really beat anyone that's really, besides the guys that have won the race? I think he's definitely going to be the dark horse, I think, if he does make the chase, which, I like I said, I think he will make the chase.
Todd's going to make the chase for sure.
Yeah, but I think he's the dark horse to win.
Yeah, the thing that worries me about Todd as a team owner of Overtake, the thing that worries me about Todd is I think if he gets to Darlington, he's got a chance. But he has to get to Darlington because he finished second last year there.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of the point that, a lot of I know that I feel like if I can get to Darlington, I've got a chance. But I got to get to Darlington and actually looking at that schedule, because this season's already we're already halfway done. Yeah. We start to chase actually at the very end of April.
4 weeks, yeah.
And we go USA, Five Flags, Martinsville, and Bristol, and you want to talk about 4 tracks where tempers are gonna flare. We picked the 4 greatest tracks going into the chase to cause tempers to run wild, and who really wants that going into Iowa and Richmond and Kansas in the first round of the playoffs? That's a huge turnaround from the 4 weeks leading up to the chase to 3 kind of bigger tracks. And I think that's where we'll definitely see. Because I'm sitting here looking, trying to see where me and Gary both won at kind of the bigger tracks. I think that's where it'll kind of play into mine and Gary's. I don't want to say forte, but kind of fall into our hands a little bit better, just because we've kind of got the wins at these bigger tracks.
That's
compared to everyone else winning all these smaller tracks. So we'll go ahead and move on here. Trying to see what we got.
We added some new leagues. We added some new leagues to ESPN. As I gotta sneeze. Hopefully it don't come out while I'm sitting here talking. Eddie Farnes has. We haven't completely locked that up yet, but it looks like we're close. I'm trying to get a full season broadcaster for him for the Northwest Racing Association. That will be posted on Facebook once we go official with that over on ESPN Facebook. So I kind of want to stray away from that just a little bit here, but I also want to mention the new series that we actually broadcasted last night that I was personally a fan of, the Ultimate Sim League. These guys, honestly, I know you didn't get to watch it too much, Derek, because you was actually practicing and stuff like that, but they ran last night at Southern National in the late models, I might add. They had 38 drivers show up for this thing, and honestly, probably one of the most, I don't want to say most funnest races I've ever seen, because we've been in so many, it's hard for me to pick. But Jackson Lewis picked up the win. First race we broadcasted, we got them for 2 more races, and then they decided, we decided if we want to stay with them. But they did a really good job last night. and really fun to do. So that is the 2 new leagues that were broadcasted. And I want to go ahead and mention, before I forget, the Dirt Series on Saturday for Strictly Street Stock Badass Customs. They are still recruiting. They got 2 more races. This is a mini series in a Pro 2 light trucks. If you are interested in running it, you can contact me and we'll get you set up with it. But we're basically trying to make sure the participation is there. Right now, we're good to go for another season, but we want to make sure the participation is still going to stay there if we up it to, say, to 8 races or so. I don't think you want to go over 10 by any means for a Pro 2 Light series, but I love that series. Short races, very fun. So there you go. Now the fun begins, Derek.
So, if you know me and Adam, well, mainly more me, but if you know me and Adam, football,
Rains.
the NFL, I think,
it rains.
Yes. And me and him we've had this discussion. Which would we rather watch?
Yeah.
And to be honest, right now, NFL still tops it. And last season, I mean, granted, I wasn't here during NASCAR season, but I didn't keep up with NASCAR whenever I was at basic training. You know what I kept up with? Football. That's all I kept up with. And I think as we're getting ready to kind of roll into this, I mean, NFL right now, they've got the spotlight. Right.
Yeah.
They're probably going to be the first thing back, kind of once the sports world does kind of start evolving back into kind of normality. NFL is going to have the prime. They're going to be prime.
Yeah, and one thing real fast I want to talk about, just throw out there, I think NASCAR will get more views now with the help of iRacing. Just pointing that out.
The help but right now, of course, you know, NFL, it's already got kind of the...
it's the main sport in America.
It's going to be, yeah. And kind of where we're going with kind of where we want to is free agency right now, running rampant.
I don't even want to say what I'm about to say to you because I don't know if you've seen it, but I think I'm going to go ahead and tell you here live.
Go ahead.
So the Titans are in contact with Jadeveon Clowney.
Don't to me. Don't. Why would you do that?
You like it or no? Because I like it. Like,
he gives us more threat on the defensive side of the football, and that's
a dirty player. Thing. But he's good. He's a dirty player, but he's really good.
Oh, 100%. But and that's something that when you come to Nashville, because let's be real, that's one thing Nashville thankfully has never really had to worry about. And when we did worry about it, we pushed him out, aka Vince Young and Chris Johnson near the end of his career.
Yeah.
He started causing issues, and we just pushed him out.
Vince Young was trash, though.
He could win football games, but that's
all right. Let's stop. Wait, let's stop. Hold on. You're not going to sit there and tell me that and just ignore it. He's trash.
He was okay.
Mariota or Vince Young? Which one would you have?
Mariota.
There you go. But I got you. All right, go ahead.
But now, definitely, here's something that I definitely want to talk about, and that is the biggest bonehead trade of the entire off-season, of course, what happened with my team.
No, it wasn't the biggest.
Okay, what's the biggest bonehead move besides the one that I think you already know I'm about to talk about?
Go ahead and say what you were saying, and I'll see if it's
Darrell Casey for a 7th-round pick.
Yeah, that's pretty bad, though. That is pretty bad.
An all-pro, Pro Bowl selection.
I don't know how many times he's been a Pro Bowl, like 4 times?
He's been there the last.
Maybe it's the All Pro. He's been selected All Pro 4 times. Maybe that's what it is.
Well, he's also been selected several times to the Pro Bowl, and we trade him for a 7th-round pick. There must be there's got to be something in the clause somewhere, because how are we going to trade someone that? Yeah, granted, he's getting old, but all we need him to do is just fill a gap.
Could at least got a 5th round out of him.
At least a 5th round, but a 7th round. I usually, most of the time, let me be real. John Robertson, I love the dude to death. He's done great for the city. He's done great for this team. But that one, I wanted to drive up to Nashville, figure out where he lived, break down his door, and figure out what he is doing. Because that one just, it exploded my head when I seen that. Because I was like, oh, we traded Darrell Casey. What did we get out of it? 7th-round pick. I was like, where's my pitchfork? Because that's crazy. But
what do you think the best free agent move is so far, besides the Tom Brady thing?
Well, I mean, really, Tom Brady, first off, The AFC East just opened up, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
The Patriots, I'll go ahead and say, the Patriots are not making the playoffs.
Who is the, okay, better yet, who is the biggest free agent move that you've seen? I got two.
Well, of course, Phillip Rivers leaving Los Angeles.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's kind of a big one. Actually, I got several here that I'm seeing just right off
I think the
bat.
biggest I see is DeAndre Hopkins.
Now, that one is also another big bonehead move I'm trying to figure out.
I still don't understand that one completely.
I understand.
They got, what's his name, the running back?
David Johnson,
yeah.
which, don't get me wrong, I mean, of course, the only thing he can really hold his hat on is that he was the best fantasy running back, which, by the way, I had that year. Helped me win the Super Bowl, but
he hasn't been healthy.
He hasn't been healthy, and that's kind of another big thing. But somebody else who I'm actually looking on ESPN right here at some of the big moves. A team.
I got a big move that I think is one of the biggest more than any of them.
I want to hear who yours is.
You probably got an idea because I'm a fan of the Eagles, of course.
Yeah.
But I think it's Nick Foles to Chicago.
Yes.
Because Nick Foles he's capable of winning.
And also which I'm so glad they decided to get rid of Nick Foles. I hope great things for him because we will literally destroy Pinshew, whatever his name is.
Jacksonville's stupid, by the way.
And they also got rid of Calais Campbell, which that's another team.
The Eagles got him, by the way, I believe, right?
No, he went. Calais Campbell.
Oh no, he went to Baltimore.
No, he went to Baltimore. As they weren't already dangerous enough. They got more dangerous. And
like Brian said, Bears getting Big Nick to be the starting quarterback.
There we go.
I was wondering how long it would take.
After hours.
I was wondering how long it would take for somebody to say the word. Yeah. Todd Chase said the Lions look better, Derek. They do look better, though. Lions look way better. They have made big signings. They've made some big signings.
I mean, they got
what is the big name, though? They released Darius Slay to the Eagles. They traded him, which I thought was a bad move, by the way, for the Lions. But I can see why the Lions did it. They got something in return. So
the big thing I still think that they need is a quarterback there.
Yeah, I still agree. Even though I think Matt Stafford can sling it, you need a consistent quarterback.
And they kind of seen it in that guy that they put in. I think right there.
I liked him. What was his name?
I forgot what his name was.
Me too.
But here's something that, I mean, you'll be surprised at too. I'm sitting here looking, there's only one team that has made no off-season moves whatsoever.
Who?
Kansas City.
Yeah, I think they're going to be good. I'm not saying nothing. I hope not. What about Miami might go after Joe Burrow? I did hear that there's a point or a possibility they can move up to get him.
But didn't they get who'd they get as a quarterback? Because I thought they got a good quarterback.
I think they've been doing some moves.
Well, right now, I mean, they're actually showing. Of course, this is always just a guess, but the three quarterbacks that Miami has been chosen to quote unquote draft has been Tua Tagovailoa, Justin Herbert. Who, by the way, Justin Herbert was fantastic at Oregon, and that's definitely something.
That's where I know that name.
Because here's the deal: me being an SEC fan. If I can see something in the Pac-12, it's something. If I can see something in the Pac-12, so that's
for sure.
I think Herbert will make a great quarterback, and I mean, it's best if I don't make comments about Joe Burrow because a little bit of bias there. But somebody else who also kind of made headlines is Teddy Bridgewater going to the Panthers.
That's a big move for the Panthers.
I think the Panthers, they did the right thing. Now, did they kind of mess over Cam Newton? Yes, they did, but they need to get rid of Cam. I think.
Where's he going to go? That's what I'm wondering.
Well, I think he'll come to the AFC. And here's why I say that, because nobody in that division is going to want him. So no one's going to want to play the kind of like backstab, we stole your quarterback from you. Because, I mean, let's be real. The Buccaneers got the quarterback of a lifetime. The Saints, they still got Breeze. And then whenever Breeze leaves, you still got Taysom Hill.
We still got Matt Ryan. By the way, Taysom Hill's still a free agent.
For now, I think they will.
I think they're going to sign him too.
And, I mean, looking at the NFC, I mean, everybody looks like they got their quarterback except for a couple of teams in the NFC, I mean, Washington, they're still needing, I think, a better quarterback. I mean,
Haskins is trash, man.
Haskins, I'm still kind of on the fence about him. I think it'll definitely take some time to figure out him.
But Detroit for Cam Newton.
It would fit kind of his play style, I think. I think him and Patricia might be able to get along in that kind of atmosphere. And, I mean, it's in a dome, too, so I feel like that may also play into Cameron's Cam. Well, I think his name is Cameron anyway, isn't it?
Maybe.
And I'm trying to see. Of course, another big bonehead move is what is up with Los Angeles's new, the Rams' new logo?
It's trash.
I mean, I could have made that in Microsoft Paint.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
And that's bad. And you especially know how bad I am.
They've changed the logo like how many times?
I mean, they've
changed it a lot.
They changed it once since they moved to Los Angeles, and now this is a completely different change. And I want to. They might as well just go ahead and change the name because I don't understand the point of keeping the Rams name if it's not even going to have a Ram.
I don't know where Cam Newton would go, man. I'm sitting here looking or thinking. I don't really know.
He could have went to Vegas, but Vegas already.
You know where he could go?
Where?
New England. I'm dead serious. New England
has already said, though, they're already stuck with Stidham, and they're going to go with Stidham and probably tank and go get you-know-who.
Yeah, the guy from Clemson, yeah. Well, I'm still going to say Patriots, but it depends how much Cam Newton's going to want to.
Exactly. Now, I just said a team, though, that I'm sitting here looking. I mean, they've got by far the most signings that I've seen.
We can forget about Jameis Winston, too.
Well,
personally, I don't think he should go anywhere. I just think he's a good backup.
Yeah. Well, and here's something, too. The Las Vegas Raiders. I was here looking at some of these guys. Corey Littleton, Marcus Mariota, Jason Witten, Nick Kowalski, Malik Collins, Eli Apple, Carl Nesby, I guess, Nelson Aguilar, and Jeff Heath.
There's two things that could happen here, by the way, real fast. Just something I was sitting there looking at Cam Newton's possibly where he could go. Two places that come to mind. Philadelphia as a backup.
Okay.
Because Wentz gets hurt a lot, as much as I like Wentz.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh Steelers.
They do need them a quarterback because
Roethlisberger's going to play one more year, I think. That'll be it. And can he do a full season?
I don't think he can get through a full season. I think that's his problem right now.
Yeah, I don't either. He gets hit in the elbow, it's over. Because we know Mason Rudolph's just trash.
And that's the problem, too, is that I don't see, I don't see Big Ben lasting a full 16 games.
Not no more. By the way, 17 now, ain't it?
No, I think they're pushing that back a year.
Oh, they're going to go back a year?
Yeah.
I did say they extended the playoffs, though.
They did do that. But how about Eric Ebron going to the Steelers? Which, as a Titans fan, I cannot thank them enough for getting rid of them. They are making it easy. Tennessee is about to have the easiest run to the playoffs. They're about to be the Patriots in the
AFC
South now.
And I seriously agree with that. I wouldn't have said that if they wouldn't have got rid of DeAndre Hopkins. But after now, Tennessee win that division.
Don't get me wrong. Deshaun Watson is still a fantastic quarterback, but who is he going to throw the ball to?
Will Fuller. That gets hurt every 3 games.
And because, Tennessee, we didn't lose a lot of our corners, and we've already signed. Our defense is getting stronger right now. We can probably keep Deshaun Watson under wraps. And besides that, what are they going to be able to do? I still think the Texans or the Colts are still going to make the playoffs as a wild card. Because now it's 3 wild card teams now? I think, is that what it's something?
It's 14 teams total now in the playoffs.
Yeah, so each side gets 7.
Like half the league, dude.
Yeah. And that's good because, last year...
The Cowboys fans are so happy.
Now watch it. They still won't even make the playoffs.
Yeah, they're going to go 8-9 every year.
Yep, and you know what? The rest of the world cannot be happier. Sorry, Joe, love you.
Gosh.
But
But yeah,
I kind of want to go ahead and get your prediction though. Who's your too early Super Bowl winner? I want to hear it. Way too early, but who's your Super Bowl winner?
Baltimore versus. I think Baltimore's going to beat Tennessee in the AFC Championship.
Okay.
I'm serious. Baltimore, and I say Baltimore. I still don't know if Lamar Jackson's legit. By the way, Not after
No.
teams will have time to figure him out, but we'll see. I'm going to say Baltimore and Seattle.
I do agree. And the only reason why I won't put Baltimore is because now Tennessee now has put the game film out there how to stop Lamar Jackson. We put the game film out there.
Take that back. Put New Orleans in instead of Seattle.
I do like that.
Yeah.
But I don't think Baltimore will still make the playoffs. Baltimore will still be a threat. But once again, can Lamar Jackson not get into his own head? Because I think that was also a big part of it too.
It was.
Is that
he played like
he got
crap.
And he did. And also Tennessee just made him. We made him throw the football. We took the ball out of his hand, which is what the game plan was. We played our style of football, which I don't know what happened the very next week because we didn't do that. But anyway,
told y'all you gotta get Derek started on this NFL stuff. He gets lit up about it, boys.
Man, it's a sport I love, man. But no, honestly, my Super Bowl pick. And
this is very early, by the way.
Very, very early, but I'm calling it now. Buffalo Bills will win the AFC East. Will get a first-round bye. Will beat the...
Watch who he puts in the Super Bowl. Go ahead, Derek.
It will be the Buffalo Bills.
Yep.
Versus... And you might honestly kind of find a shock in this. It will be Buffalo versus Minnesota.
All right, that's going to do it for us.
No. I honestly think, because here's what's going to happen. Minnesota and New Orleans.
They don't have a wide receiver. They got Adam Thielen. That's it. Well, they don't have Stephon Diggs no more.
And here's why, though. Because now I feel like they're going to wake up and realize it, and they're actually going to play halfway decent football.
I like Josh Allen, though.
Yeah.
I'm a big Josh Allen fan.
I think Minnesota can do it because looking at the division they're in, I mean, let's be real. You're playing against the Bears and the Lions, and all you gotta do is just make the playoffs.
You gotta play against Nick Foles.
Like I said, all you gotta worry about is making the playoffs because you're not gonna beat the Packers.
That's true.
So,
well, maybe.
And take the Tennessee route, make the playoffs, and then who knows what could happen. So right. I think that's where we're at, but. I think that's going to wrap us up for our first episode.
Yeah, so what we're going to do, guys, we're going to try to do this once every, week or every 2 weeks, something like that. Mm-hmm. We're going to have some host on or a guest on. Don't know yet who our first guest is going to be. We're going to try to get somebody big, I think. Mm-hmm. May have to message TJ Majors.
Yeah, for sure.
Or Kyler Hope. We might be able to get him on. He would definitely do it. I don't know. We got some interesting subjects we're going to talk about, like who is some of the best drivers in iRacing from short tracks up to the bigger tracks. I got a couple of names. I'm not going to go out and spoil it today, but we'll have a poll up here soon and let people vote who they think. But anyway, that'll do it, guys. Derek, you want to get us out of here?
Alrighty, but yeah, guys, want to thank everybody for tuning in, and we will see y'all next time. This is Derek Pemberton and Adam Chapman. We're back in the game.